a list of 4 players has been making its rounds. A list of 4 Lakers that are most likely to be traded. I can't remember who all was on it. I think it was Gabe Vincent, Dalton Connect, and Rui Hachimura, and one other player. I can't remember. Maxi Kleber. I want to talk about Rui Hachimura. I've made many videos about Dalton Connect and how I feel that the dude is undervalued. Rui Hachimura is undervalued also. He's the name that's getting thrown into all these trades, and I think the Lakers don't understand that they're giving up more than just the numbers of Rui Hachimura, right? So Rui Hachimura averaged 13 and 5 last year, 14 and 5, something like that. Nothing exceptional, except the dude fit in. He fit in. I mean, in my mind's eye, Rui Hachimura was like damn near the most perfect complement on the team to LeBron James and Luka Doncic. The dude fit. I don't think Rui is necessarily an option player, but I think he is more of an option player than Austin Reeves. Rui, you give the ball to Rui, man. Rui could do something with it. He could get you a good shot most of the time. It may not be the shot that you prefer, and it may not be the shot that is expected given the offense the Lakers are playing, but the dude gives you a good shot. Dude shoots 50% from the field. He's our best 3-point shooter. And more than anything, I repeat, the dude is good for chemistry. He actually fits. And if you were to trade Rui Hachimura, then you're giving up more than just his numbers. You're giving up the chemistry that came with the dude being a Laker for 3 years now. He has 3 years worth of chemistry with LeBron James. He has half a year worth of chemistry with Luka, and half a year is a big enough sample size to see. The dude fits with Luka. He's a great spot-up shooter, and his defense is not half as bad as I think many people try to make it. As a matter of fact, that dude is long. That's a big dude, man. And he often comes up with help side blocks and things of that nature that I think are very helpful for the team. He is also a part of that narrative that is making certain players expendable. And that's why I made the video, is because I'm hearing his name brought up with Dalton Connect's name. And as if those are the two guys. Because let's face it, on court, those are the two most valuable guys. Right? I mean, I'm not necessarily talking salary. Salary-wise, that's why you got Maxi Kleber. That's why you have Gabe Vincent. It's not those two guys, it's not their on-court value that's going to do it. But Dalton Connect and Rui, they're on-court value guys, in my opinion. I mean, someone might like Rui's contribution given what he should be making, if that makes any sense, right? So, no one's expecting Rui to score 20 points a game, So, whatever his salary is, it kind of matches what his contribution is, which makes him valuable. It makes him an asset. It's almost like he's $15 million is like a decent place to have Rui get paid, and which is relatively cheap. But when you look at the Lakers, though, and you look at his contribution as a Laker, you have to factor in the chemistry aspect of it. It takes years and years to establish that kind of chemistry. The chemistry that you want to see out of a championship team. And he is a very good fit just on court, ostensibly, just looking at the game. The dude is a fantastic fit. And I think that the Lakers better take that into consideration before they trade. Now, I'm hearing his name bandied about in trades for Nic Claxton, in trades for Daniel Gafford. And I think the Lakers better be careful. They better be careful. Because Nic Claxton, like I said, he's a 10-7 player. 10 points per game, 7 rebounds per game player. What are the chances he gets to the Lakers and he is that efficient or less efficient? And when you start talking about, we just need a guy to grab rebounds and catch lobs and play some defense, again, I'm inclined to say, do not trade your assets for that. If that's all, because look, what people are saying they want is, again, the Lakers are on that old school, the last fad. The Lakers are on the last fad still, right? The fad that says a big man ain't worth a shit, you don't really need him. A post game is antiquated, and that's not where the league is going. The Lakers are still on that. They still haven't graduated or understood that if they aren't leading, they're behind. Okay, how's that for a narrative? If the Lakers are not leading, then the Lakers are behind. Why? Because there is a Laker tax and no one is trying to help the Lakers. If the Lakers aren't trailblazing, if the Lakers aren't visionaries, then the Lakers are operating behind. They're behind the times. And, you know, the idea that a big man in his post game is useless is kind of an idea that became prevalent because of the rise of the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are done. Okay, that style of play was a flash in the pan. It was the exception, not the rule. I don't know when is the next time we see 3 of the best shooters in NBA history assembled on the same team. Or 2 of the best shooters in NBA history assembled on the same team. Arguably the best shooters, right? And the Lakers are moving as if they don't see where the league is going, right? So the Lakers made adjustments, and the Lakers pursued a roster and talent that was based on the Golden State model. Okay, well, you could never achieve that. So now you kind of graduated out of that and you realize you need a big man, right? You need big men. Now you hear the talking heads asking for more than one, right? Well, the next thing that's going to come is you need a competent center in the middle. That's going to be the next thing to come. That's going to be the word. You need a competent center in the middle, right? In other words, a center that on offense is capable of more than just offensive rebounding and putbacks, right? Because I guarantee you, there's nothing new under the sun. The game is going to go back to valuing the inside out aspect of the game, because that's the inside out is as effective as driving and kicking. It's as effective as having a superstar who demands a double team, and then you could whip it around after that superstar gets double teamed. That's how effective inside out basketball is, right? And the league is going to go back to that. Mark my words, the league is going to go back to that. It's what the league has been for the majority of its history. It's what the league will continue to be, okay? And if that is where the NBA is going, back to talented centers who will make you pay in the post if you do not double them, or if you do not have a competent defender to defend them. If that is where the league is going, then you are playing behind the times if you think Nic Claxton or Daniel Gafford is your answer this offseason. There's one center that I've seen that I would trade Rui Hachimura for, and that's, I'm talking about a reasonable option. I'm not talking about this pie in the sky shit. I mean a reasonable option. You know, hey, look, let me tell you something. On this channel, you won't hear me say that the Lakers even have a shot to acquire Giannis. Right? I actually believe they have a shot to acquire Joel Embiid. I think he's tainted property. But you're not going to hear me talk about this dumb shit to get you guys to click on the channel. Look at my topics and you'll see. Most of my topics are so they're so basketball driven and not click driven that I know that this channel will not be successful as far as subscribers go. I know that starting out, right? You're not going to hear me propose trades and whatnot in which, you know, I don't believe they're going to happen, because I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting your time. But the player that I think that the Lakers should pursue, the one player that I've heard so far that is actually worth trading Rui, and the chemistry That's the important thing, the chemistry that comes with Rui. The one player I hear of is DeAndre Ayton. I would trade Rui for DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is 14 points and 10 rebounds a game. But DeAndre Ayton is in a unique position because Portland is rebounding. DeAndre Ayton is not a rebounding type of player. I'm sorry. Portland is rebuilding. DeAndre Ayton is greater than a rebuilding type of player, right? Now, so is Rui. Rui is greater than a rebuilding type of player too. The one thing about DeAndre Ayton, and the reason why I think that the Lakers could trade for him, they're both entering, Rui and DeAndre Ayton are both entering their final season, right? So they have expiring contracts after next year. So they both, Rui makes $18 million next year. DeAndre makes 35, right? But the Lakers could have less redundancy if they pick up DeAndre Ayton. And if you watch my channel, that's the thing I'm damn near biggest on, is the redundancy aspect of everything, right? So when you have two dominant players like LeBron and Luka, those are similar players, right? Luka pounds the hell out of the ball a lot more. But as far as their gravity, they're both similar players. So what you need is players that do something more different. So if you have a 6'9 LeBron and a 6'8 Luka, right? And you got a 6'9, and not just a 6'9 LeBron, a 6'9 aging LeBron. A 6'9 LeBron that wants to play power forward because power forwards are less mobile, right? When you have that, you have to have somebody who complements him, right? Somebody who's willing to bang, you know? And DeAndre Ayton is more willing. DeAndre Ayton is a pure center. He is more willing to bang. He has no problem with that. He's more willing to play the big guy on the opposing team. He got no problem with that, right? He is long and athletic. He could catch lobs. He is not incompetent in the middle on offense. If he could be a great defensive center with his help. His help defense could be awesome. When he was with with Phoenix, man, I looked at him and I said, whoa, man, he's up next. He's up next. But I think that players like Julius Randle, DeAndre Ayton, Jahlil Okafor, that's another player that if I was the Lakers, I'd go look at. He could be great at power forward. He has such footwork that he could probably be a fantastic defender. You know, the Lakers, the only player I would trade Rui for is DeAndre Ayton. But if the Lakers were to take, so DeAndre Ayton makes $38 million next year, right? Let me check real quick. DeAndre Ayton makes $35 million next year on an expiring contract. Rui makes $18 million on an expiring contract. So that means you need another $18 million in order to make that trade work, right? Well, Gabe Vincent makes $11 million, right? So that's $29 million. Then you got Maxi Kleber making another 11. So the Lakers got the contracts to get there. I suspect they're going to have to throw in a first round pick. I think that the Lakers are going to, or Portland is going to have to kind of get serious about rebuilding. That's $1 million question in this case then. Is Portland serious about rebuilding? Because if Portland is serious about rebuilding, then I think that this trade could very well happen. And I think it's because of Donovan Clingan. And the fact that Portland is serious about rebuilding, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to articulate that the Lakers need to be very cognizant of the value of Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura, in my opinion, because of the chemistry and because he's been here 3 years, he's better than Nic Claxton. That's not even a question to me. I would not trade Rui for Nic Claxton. And I don't think I trade Rui for Daniel Gafford. If I trade Rui, it has to be for a center that adds another dimension on offense. Right? Because if you have these teams that are they're heavy on the Mitchell Robinsons, the Nic Claxtons, the Daniel Gaffords, right? Who's the Dark Lord they used to call him from Boston? Can't remember what his name is. He's often hurt, but he plays with Portland also, right? Those guys are all floating around the NBA. You know what I mean? And if you want to be ahead of it, have a guy that adds another dimension. Have a guy that has such an offensive game that he could foul out or create fouls, right? I mean, those are the margin type things that the Lakers need to be thinking about, right? Don't think like everybody else, right? Think past that. You got a guy in DeAndre Ayton who is effectively rotting in Portland. And he's kind of just flying under the radar. If Portland's goal is to be worse, then help Portland be worse. Right? If you have to give up those 3 guys in a draft pick, then get back DeAndre Ayton in maybe a couple of seconds. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Right? Get back DeAndre Ayton. Let me see who else is on their roster. Get back DeAndre Ayton and, I don't know, expand it to Robert Williams. That's another $13 million. That's Dark Lord, by the way. Robert Williams. That's another $13 million. He's often hurt. You know, I don't know if you could make those numbers work or not, but it's worth looking at. Scoot Henderson, right? He's been around long enough that I believe Portland is starting to wonder what his value is. Matisse Thybulle would be fantastic. You know? Yeah, that's about all I see, though. But yeah, Rui, hey man, the only center I'm trading for is DeAndre Ayton. That's it. He's the only one worthwhile. I'm trying to think if I've been hearing the talking heads devalue Rui. Because that's what they do, man. That's what they do. They hear something, they hear the narrative, they hear the message that's trying to be put out. And then they concoct facts. Not necessarily the truth, but facts to put around those narratives. You know what I mean? And almost in like a way to kind of bolster what management believes or what management wants to do. And that's kind of what I'm trying to think of right now. Have I heard that? What I hear about Rui and what I hear the talking heads say is that Rui is too redundant. He's too redundant with LeBron and Luka Doncic. Now, I hear that. I hate to say it, but I do. I hear some of that. But it's okay that he's redundant if you bring in someone who's good enough and lacks redundancy. Nic Claxton is not good enough. He lacks redundancy, but he's not good enough. He don't qualify. In my opinion, Daniel Gafford, not good enough, doesn't qualify. DeAndre Ayton is good enough and qualifies. You know, Robert Williams, love the dude's game, especially when he's healthy. But not good enough. He's not good enough. Only because he's not healthy enough. Right? So that's what the Lakers gotta be aware of, man, going into this offseason. I hope that they don't do anything in haste. You know, thinking, okay, if we don't jump in this, then this person's going to be gone or that person's going to be gone. Right now, They should be figuring out what their plan is and figuring out the order of operation, right? What has to fall first? For example, if we trade Dalton Connect, and I hope they don't. I hope they trade Austin Reeves, but I get the vibe they're going to trade Dalton Connect. So if they trade Dalton Connect and they trade Dalton Connect for the wrong player, then you don't have that asset for the right player. And what do I mean for the wrong player? Right? You trade Dalton Connect for something that you don't need or something that's really redundant on the team. Then now you don't have Dalton Connect to trade for something that you do need and something that is not redundant on the team. So it's important that you got your order of operation worked out. You know, this player could only go for that player. Now, there are exceptions to every rule. If somebody wants to give you Benedict Mathurin for Dalton Connect, you got to do it. Right? If Indiana wants to give Benedict Mathurin for Dalton Connect, you almost have to do it. And then try to figure out another way with somebody else. You know? But, yeah, man, it's going to be really interesting this offseason because the Lakers picked up Luka in the middle of the season and they did not have the time. I'm hard on Rob Pelinka, but this is the one thing I'll give the dude. He did not have time to put together the right roster around Luka. When you add a Luka and get rid of an Anthony Davis, you're talking about a facelift of your team, a 180, you know, and he did not have time to figure that out. He just did not have time. So, you know, the Lakers, he should be active. This should not be a repeat of last offseason. He should be active this offseason, and I expect him to be. And, hey, man, it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this is Pure Uncut Lakers. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again.